Hi folks, this is part 2 of our steam vacuum attachment before you use it, our introduction video so to speak. I just want to explain the pros and cons of having this before you decide to buy it. And again, hooking up your vacuum hose, we have a standard size vacuum hose, you need to plug it into your vacuum. Now, what some people have problems with, depending on where you're plugging your steamer in, because we're using a 1750 watt steamer on our steamer heater, we don't want to blow a circuit, and sometimes that happens with our steamers because we're almost maxing out the circuit. So what you have to be aware of is just because we're not incorporating the vacuum within the steamer, you're going to be using a vacuum and a steamer at the same time. Now what we have to remember is we're pulling 1750 watts out of this steamer, or our 75 steamer. The heaters are all the same. That's going to eat up most of your electricity on a 15 amp circuit. So what you have to realize is that if you're plugging a vacuum into the same circuit and we're using both at the same time, there is a possibility that you might blow the circuit breaker, because whatever amperage or wattage that you're using on your vacuum is in addition to the 1750 watts that the steamer is pulling. So if you start blowing circuit breakers, it's because it's maxing out, it's over the limit of what the 15 amp circuit can hold, and I just want you to be aware of that. Now, some people would say, well, just plug your vacuum into that outlet right there. Okay, so if we plugged our outlet into that outlet right there, you plug your vacuum cord into that, and we plug our steamer cord into this one right here, that doesn't help, because as you can see, these two are interconnected. They're on the same circuit. The wire runs parallel to each other, so these two outlets are on the same circuit. They're taking the same amount of electricity. So even if we plugged our vacuum into that outlet and we plug our steamer into this outlet, we're still on the same outlet. So you have to know your electric requirements. If you're in a shop, you want to know what your circuit is running. You want not to run anything else, because your chances are you're going to blow the circuit. If you're working inside your home, there's a good chance you're going to blow the circuit breaker because there's too many amps and too many watts pulling on the same circuit. So before you buy this and before you start blowing circuit breakers, we just want to make you aware of that. Now, the other thing we want to make you aware of before you buy this is, does it act as a true extractor, and do you really need it? Now again, we've always had the question of people asking me, which should I buy? Should I buy a steamer or should I buy an extractor? And do you really want to have both? Do you really need both? And which machine would you buy if you needed just one? And obviously my recommendation would be to buy the steamer. But now that we've developed this tool, this kind of gives you the best of both worlds. But if this can operate as a true extractor, if you have the 125 injection machine. With the 125 injection, now you're mixing whatever chemical you want in the injection tank. That gets mixed in with the steam. It makes it extremely hot. That's going to get very wet, and it's going to operate as a true extractor. Now, if you just have the 100 machine, or if you have the 75 machine, it's going to work well, but it's not going to work quite as well as if you had true injection. Now, in that instance, you can spray cleaner, pre-cleaner on the surface, which we still recommend if you have a dirty carpet, a dirty floor mat, a dirty seat. You can brush it first, you can brush it second, but if you're looking to get the ground and dirt out, this is a good way to do it. But again, you got to also understand that the longer that you use this, the more that your fingers on the trigger here, the more that your fingers on the injection trigger there, the more the pressure is going to go down there. Now it's going to take a little bit, it's going to take probably about 1.5 to 2 minutes before you're going to be out of steam pressure to where it's not going to be useful. But on some really, really dirty cars, you might have to take a break after a couple of minutes and let the steamer regenerate its pressure, which is something obviously that you don't have to do if you had a separate carpet extractor, because the carpet extractor is just pumping fluid, pumping water, and it's just a pump system and a vacuum system. So obviously your vacuum's not going to run out of suction because you're plugging the vacuum hose into your own vacuum. But again, we're still operating the steamer, and all the other videos that we've done about pressure drop, you're still going to see it with this tool. Now again, we've tried to limit the pressure drop by making a special injector nozzle here, and we think we've done a good job because in testing we've been able to run the machine for quite a while before we lose too much pressure. So we just want to make you aware of that. And again, if you have any questions before you buy this, feel free to give us a call. But we think it's an excellent addition to your steamer. If you run into those dirty floor mats, dirty carpets, or really, really bad seats, this is going to be a really nice addition where you don't have to go out and buy the traditional heated carpet extractor. So please feel free to call us if you have any questions about anything.